I want to give you the single biggest, most important life lesson that I have learned in my 33 years so far of life on this planet. The biggest game changer. And I encourage you to watch to the end of this video, because I'm going to share this life lesson with you very shortly. But if you keep watching, you'll get loads of examples and context and illustrations as to why, from my experience, this has been and continues to be the biggest game changer life lesson of all that I've learned so far. And to put it in like the most concise nutshell terms as possible, it's that facing your fears, doing the things that you're scared of, leads to growth as a person. If you're brand new to this channel, if you've never seen me before, my name's Rowan, and I started this channel about a month ago because I decided about a month ago that I was going to start tackling my approach anxiety. My fear of rejection, of approaching girls in public that I'm attracted to, my fear of social humiliation, my fear of being labeled as a creep, my fear of all of the different kinds of things that my mind would make up to actually stop me in the moment of actually approaching a girl that that I find physically attractive out in public, out in the wild when I see her. And when I started doing this, I decided to start a YouTube channel at the same time to document my journey. The reason that I started doing this is because dating apps have failed me. And if you have used dating apps, you'll probably be able to relate to this, whether you're a guy or a girl. For different reasons, they've probably failed you too. I was not, and am still not, getting the kind of, intimacy or sex or connection with women that I wanted or needed from dating apps. And it's been that way for a really, really long time. And I'm not getting any younger. And so I decided I needed to actually get over my fear of approaching girls in public. I needed a new way of meeting people, interacting with people, flirting with girls, but getting connection and intimacy. And the reason that I'd been using dating apps instead of actually approaching girls for so long was because on dating apps, if they swipe right, it means that they basically like you physically enough to at least give you a chance to talk to them. And so it took the risk of rejection out of the equation. And so this is why this channel is sort of relevant to this lesson of like facing your fears leads to growth, is because dating apps completely take the risk out of it. And that's why girls are fucking inundated with hundreds of thousands of men liking their profiles and sending them generic compliments or sending them whatever on dating apps, just like screeds of men wanting their attention, and none of them actually standing out. And the reason that it's like this is because all of those men are scared to actually approach girls in public. And I can tell you for a definitive fact, over the last 3 to 4 weeks of approaching over 60 women and having never gone badly, like I have like no need for my dating apps anymore. But probably the biggest win that I've had out of that has been how much I have grown as a person as a result of actually facing my fear of approaching girls when I see them. I actually learned this lesson of facing fear equals growth a number of years ago. And I was really kind of umming and ahhing about whether to post this video on this channel, because so far this channel has been mostly dedicated to me documenting my journey of overcoming approach anxiety and facing my fear leading to growth. The biggest lesson that I've learned in life is absolutely relevant to approach anxiety, but I actually learned this after surviving a narcissistically abusive relationship a number of years ago. I learned that when I actually lean into my fear, I don't die. And so if any of you out there who have been through like abusive relationships or narcissistically abusive relationships or toxic relationships like that, you might be able to relate to this. This was the single biggest thing that I learned in surviving and overcoming a relationship with a narcissist. I've actually been through quite a few of these types of relationships, but this particular one that I'm talking about was where everything changed for me. I was still stuck with her, living with her, and so I actually couldn't get out. I had to spend 2 to 3 months being aware of the fact that I was being abused and that her whole style was intimidation, and that I was terrified of her because of the dynamic that we had, the dynamics that we were in. And I had to learn that facing my fear, like she kind of embodied fear itself for me. And that's when this lesson really started to take root. I was terrified of what she would do or say to me or in front of the people that I cared about deeply. I was terrified of what she would say to me or about me if I actually started to set boundaries or push back against, her abuse or her manipulation. And I had to do it anyway. If you've been through something like that, I'm not really going to go into that story too much. I just wanted to introduce it just sort of as some background context as to where this lesson actually came from. It came from a nightmarish situation. But if you've been following this channel at all, most of what I talk about is actually cold approaching girls and getting over my approach anxiety. And when I started doing this a few weeks ago, I remembered the lesson that I learned from that relationship, which was that when I recognize that there's something that I want to get or to do, but I feel fear about that, that is my signal to do it. And so this is probably about as close to a religion for me as it gets. So now when I notice myself wanting something, wanting to do something, wanting to go after something, but I feel some kind of apprehension or anxiety, I'm not perfect at this because I'm just a human being like everybody else. Like I still succumb to fear, of course, but I recommend this as a practice, is that if you find yourself wanting something, wanting to go after something, wanting to get something, wanting to approach someone, but you feel scared. You feel scared of humiliation, you feel scared of rejection, you feel scared of what it might mean about you. I mean, there could be any number of fears, that like, maybe she has a boyfriend, maybe you would, I don't know. I mean, your mind is going to come up with all kinds of reasons to stop you from doing the thing that's scary, to keep you in that sort of familiar comfort zone. But I recommend you experiment with this. And of course, this is not easy. This is the opposite of easy. This is about doing the thing that's hardest. But when it comes to cold approaching girls, I'm in the habit of this now, is that when I see a girl that I'm attracted to, pretty much regardless of the situation, as I say, I'm not perfect. But most of the time now, if I see an attractive girl and it's reasonably logistically convenient, not socially convenient, not emotionally convenient, but physically, logistically convenient for me to actually approach her and say something, like express the fact that I thought that she was good looking to her, I do it. And the thing is, there's never a perfect opportunity to do this, ever. And the reason there's never a perfect opportunity is because she's a stranger, and it's scary, and it could feel awkward for you. It could feel tense. You could have anxiety. You feel apprehensive about it. That's what makes it not a perfect opportunity. But that's that's the single biggest lesson, is that if you feel scared to do it, I recommend that you do it. My life has changed so much internally, not just externally in terms of, like interacting with more hot girls, getting girls' numbers, getting more dates, not just externally. Like, those things have improved. Like, my dating life is exponentially more abundant now as a result of facing my fear of actually approaching girls in public. But the real win here is how I've changed as a person. Because yeah, sure, like I've got better results externally, but the point is that I've learned that I don't need to be afraid of the thing that I used to be afraid of. So I've approached over 60 women over the last 3 weeks, and I spend a lot of time in the gym. I try to spend 6 days a week, if I can, in the gym, roughly 2 hours a day, 2 hours a session. And so because I'm spending so much time in the gym, and obviously because the gym, attractive people hang out in the gym working out, I would say probably around about, if not more than 50% of those approaches have actually been in the gym. And fuck me, I will tell you for free that approaching an attractive girl in the gym, for me, a month ago, before I started this, was like absolutely out of bounds. Absolutely not okay to do. 100% creep material. Just something that you don't do. And having approached, probably over 30 women in the gym over the last month, I can say now for a definitive fact that, like, I was completely wrong about that. I had somebody comment on one of my videos a few weeks ago saying the gym is not a bar. That women want to be left in peace. That, if I keep doing this, then I'm going to get reported and banned. And believe me when I say that I agreed with that belief. It rattled me when I read that because at the time I was like, fuck, I know, that's how I feel too. But that's not, like, having done it over 30 times roughly over the last 3 weeks, that has not happened even at all. I think that the person that wrote that comment, and anybody that believes that same sort of thing, I think the truth is that they have not done it. Because if they had, they'd realize that they're wrong. I've approached so many girls in the gym over the last few weeks. It's never gone badly. What I mean by it's never gone badly is it hasn't always led to a number or a date. To be honest, more often than not, it hasn't led to a number or a date. Because, of course, I mean, they're in the gym working out, we're both busy, but it's never resulted in a get away from me, this is really awkward, being reported, being banned from the... Not even at all. Every single time I have approached a girl in the gym over the last few weeks, regardless of how scared I was, she said, thank you. Not get away from me. And more often than not, she actually blushed. And so while you might say, okay, Rowan, she said thank you, she's still feeling uncomfortable, she's still going to go and report you. Well, more often than not, she blushed. And, the body doesn't lie. If a girl is blushing, she feels flattered, she feels seen and slightly challenged. She's not going to... I can tell you for a fact that there was no reporting or creepy vibes going on. Because I approached in a way that was not creepy. I approached in a way that was not needy. I revealed my nerves if they were there. I named the context. Every time I said, hey, excuse me, I know that it could be weird to approach in the gym right now. I even said in the first few times, I'm really nervous. I've never really done this before, but I just saw you and you are so gorgeous. I knew that I would regret it if I didn't say something to you. And the thing here is that by the time I'm halfway through my opening sentence to her, my fear was gone, because I realized that I was actually, because by that time I'm just talking to a person and I'm just revealing basic level, attraction, leaving a compliment for somebody. There was no needing anything. I just was like dropping a compliment, and a lot of the time, like more often than not, she blushed, and probably 50% of the time it led to a really, really nice conversation with somebody. They were really thankful. They told me that it means a lot to them. They never get complimented like that. We introduced each other. We started actually talking, and getting to know each other. And then some of the time I would then ask her out. A lot of the time they actually already had boyfriends. Some of the time I got rejected. Doesn't matter. But the point of this is that now, when I see an attractive girl in the gym, the fear is gone. The fear is gone. I just fucking walk straight up to her now. I take my AirPod out, I get her attention. I just walk straight up to her. I don't care who's around. I mean, unless she's busy or unless she's mid-set. I'm not talking about being stupid or socially, weird or not like reading the cues. But the thing is, like, you got to be careful, like reading the cues. If she like looks at you and then looks away, that's not a cue that she doesn't want you to approach. I've done loads of videos over the last 3 weeks about how I thought that she was unapproachable, or that she had a resting bitch face, or that she didn't want me to approach. But when I did, I found that my mind had lied to me. My fear had lied to me. And so what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to challenge you to discern honestly between fear and something else. Fear is the marker. The biggest piece of life advice. I live by this every day. If there's something that I'm scared to do, but I secretly want to do it. It's like my soul is like calling me forward to do it. But if I notice that I'm scared, I just start forcing my legs to move in the direction of whatever it is that I'm afraid of. I just fucking do it. It's so scary. I don't have a magic pill for you. This is the whole point of this video, is that there's no easy way out. The point of this is that if it's hard, if it's scary, that's the signal that you should do it. This is probably going to alienate loads of people because you're out here on YouTube looking for some magic pill advice, some secret hack. This is the secret hack. If you're a human being and you're looking for like the single biggest thing that can improve your life, start doing the things that you're scared of. I guarantee you, it will absolutely change your life. Not only will you get better results externally in your life, whether it's with relationships or with money or with anything like hobbies or skills or experiences, novelty, I don't know. I mean, whatever it is that you're valuing, whatever it is that you want, not only will you get way better results in those things externally, but the reason that you'll get those things externally is because you will grow as a person. It's like, I've heard it so many times, like millionaires or billionaires say that if they lost everything tomorrow, they would get it back really quickly. And the reason for that is because they're not rich by accident. They're rich on purpose. They know exactly how they got there, and they would do it again in a heartbeat. It's the same thing for me now. Like, it doesn't matter to me if I get rejected or dumped or any kind of like negative circumstance in my dating life. I don't care, because I know now that I can actually just go out there and get a girlfriend just like that. Just like that. Because there's attractive girls everywhere. It doesn't mean that every single, girl that I see is going to want to date me, because, that's not what I'm talking about. She might have a boyfriend. She might just not be into me. There was this really attractive girl that I approached in the gym the other day. She was single and she was gorgeous and she really liked the fact that I approached her, but she just wasn't really interested in dating anybody right now. Or at least that's what she told me. Whether or not that's a soft rejection of me personally, I don't know, and I don't care either. The point is that when you actually start facing your fear, say of like approaching girls, for example, then you don't need to rely on these disgusting, awful, lonely graveyard dating apps anymore, because you can actually just approach any or all of the beautiful people that are around you all the time. Your dating life will become abundant overnight. And so the same lesson applies to anything in life. If you're scared of it, but you have this like sense that it would be good for you, that your soul is like, you know deep down that that's what you want, but you don't go after it because you're scared, that's your signal. I recommend you do this. I challenge you to do this. And if this resonates with you, if you have a positive experience of this, like leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, engage with me. Because man, my life has changed so fucking much over the last 4 weeks since starting to do this. And I want to hear feedback. A really good friend of mine, for example, who I work with, he's the same. I mean, he's like 6 foot tall. He's like a really good looking guy. He's like, he works out all the time. He's got this like gorgeous body. He's like a handsome man. I'm low-key jealous that he's like this attractive stud. But he's had this approach anxiety, just like so many guys do. And a few weeks ago when we were working together and I was starting this journey, I was explaining to him, bro, you got to get on this. You got to get on this jam. Like, yes, it's scary, but that's why you've got to do it. You know, because you're a human, and like she'll understand, like the fact if you have enough balls to actually go up to her and in front of people, you know, and express your reality, man, wake up and smell the sexual tension. And he was so fucking scared, but he started doing it. He started doing it. He told, like, I watched him do an approach one day, and he told me afterwards that his mouth was shaking. And it's like, yeah, man, I fucking did one the other day too. Like where I approached this chick in the supermarket, and when I went to introduce myself, my hand was shaking like that. It is scary, but it's exhilarating. Right on the other side of your fear is growth. And actually, when you do face your fear, it's like when you jump out of a plane. The fear is actually exhilaration. As soon as you get onto the other side of that fear, the fear doesn't like go away. It transmutes into excitement and into exhilaration. This is where you will start to feel the most alive. So get out there and start facing your fears, and please report back with the results. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this. Thanks so much for paying attention. If you made it this far, I know this has been a super big monologue, but man, like, fucking hell, like the single biggest piece of life advice that I could give you, I'm not going to spend less than 5 minutes on that, man. Like, this deserves a story. So thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.